All right, hey, we're here.
Cheers, brother.
Crypto Craig here, Bitcoin Energy. I'm here with the main man. I thought it was John Taffer, but like a much better looking version and way cooler that can just help people faster. I'm just kidding, John. I love you. We're going to get you on the show too. But Paul Capozio, what's up, man? He walked into the room. Guy came in like a friggin' hurricane. I'm like, who is this guy? Like, he's like larger than life. It was like, I found out he was Italian. He had the watch on. I said, man, I like this guy. And so
you're telling me that you think I'm larger than life. Look at you.
Well, we'll get to that. No, I'm just kidding. This is about you. But so anyways.
I appreciate that.
Of course. So he walks in. He's drinking some Bitcoin Energy. He's like, man, this is freaking delicious. And then like 4 hours later, he's like, man, I'm feeling like calm and cool, but like lifted. He was like on a high. Gets a text, sends one over to my buddy today. Come back up to the room. He's like, I got to get some more of that stuff. So
right.
We appreciate you drinking it.
No, not problem.
I got a little bit Tito's.
I know it sounds like a commercial, but I literally came in. We just met yesterday, right?
Yeah.
The first time, and he turns me on to it. And well, I'll be honest with you, the first time I had it with vodka, which was really cool, but I just felt cool on it because I've done the whole Red Bull thing and everything. Look, as a 55-year-old guy, you whatever edge you can get, you go for an edge, and I just loved it. I absolutely loved it. It just made me feel and then I was able to sleep last night, which was the best thing. Yeah, because we got in late, pretty late last night.
I would have lost a friend,
No, and I was
all night, Craig. What the heck?
It was I woke up this morning feeling excellent, and then now today it's another long day in Vegas. Right, I'm an East Coast guy, and I sought you out just to get another one.
So that's what happened, and so here we are having a good time. But anyways, we start. He's like, "This is interesting." We start talking about Bitcoin. He's like, "I think Bitcoin's a buy." I'm like, "You know what? We got to sit down, turn the camera on, dive into your story, talk a little bit about financial markets, how this fits in."
Right.
With all that said, who the heck is Paul C. from Jersey boy?
From New Jersey.
Who are you?
Born and literally Jersey
boys. Who is this guy?
So born in Hoboken, New Jersey, and I don't know if you know Hoboken, but that's where Frank Sinatra was from, right? So once Frank Sinatra sucked all the potential out of that city, it was all over. So we had to make our bones. I'm a street kid, raised, my dad was a working guy, and once I was in high school, I realized the college game was not for me, but the angles were for me.
Damn, I wish I learned that when you did. Wasted a bunch of time.
Well, listen, my philosophy was I got a 4-year head start on everybody if I wanted out and hustle, right? So did that. I did everything from contracting, typical upbringing, right? Contracting, the whole 9 yards. And then when I started realizing my first foray into anything real was when I was a contractor, the biggest thing is I had to make payroll every weekend or every Friday. And that had nothing to do with me getting paid from the people who were paying me, right?
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? I think the better gig is let me start doing payroll for all these local contractors, all young guys that were hustling. I said, I'll do the payroll for them, and you just pay me. I don't care if you got paid from the person who was doing it, right? Yeah. And that was my first.
How old are you when this is going on?
This is like in my early 20s, late teens. So I'm like, 17, 18, 19, I was a contractor, for the first time. But 23 is when it really started to happen for me, It's not all a great story, but, we had my ups and downs. But I realized that if I started doing
Bitcoin.
As does Bitcoin, right. Which we want to get into because I got to be honest, I missed the whole. I have ADD, so going all over. But
I'm nuts. Yeah.
You know what? Before we get back into my story, I did not like Bitcoin originally, but I knew.
All right, so I think that's important. Why?
Okay.
People want to know why.
I just think that once the hype started to build and the people that were in it. Look, you got to realize.
Now, when was this? Because I think
this is the beginning. This is like $400 Bitcoin.
All right.
Right. Yeah. So now, right. Even now, that's like, oh my God, I wish.
Yeah.
But the point is, think about where Bitcoin came from. Its evolution was, people using it as an untraceable form. So it had its seedy side. And being a street guy, I kind of knew. Right. And at a certain point, it was right. Then you had the one guy who got his account ripped off. And I'm not. I got to be honest. I am not a cryptocurrency expert. But what I realized
by the end of this video, by the end of the drink, you drink.
But this is doing it. So. But what I started to realize was that once Jamie Dimon, started to talk about Bitcoin, and he had
Demon. No, I'm just kidding.
Demon,
that's
right?
what they call it.
Well, the point is, I knew it had his attention and other people. You know what I mean? Like Elon Musk and people like that, where they started to recognize it. So I think what we have now, for lack of a better word, is like it had to get flushed out or douched out, for a better word. And that's what's happening now. And I think what's happening is now the big players are going to come in. So it's going to lose some of its hipster quality to it because now the big boys are getting in. But I think that's going to create stability. So So I think that people were right. I think you're going to get that 100, 200,000, but it's going to be.
So you do believe in a $100,000 Bitcoin?
I do believe in $100,000.
I do
Bitcoin.
as well.
I do more now than I did before. If you told me before this crash, if you want to call it, I would have said no.
Sure.
Right. And I have a lot of friends who are big. I mean, have big positions.
Yeah.
And they're hurting right now. But I said no. I just stick with it.
Yeah.
Just stick. I think it needed to flush out a little bit.
Sure.
And every major, not necessarily cryptocurrency because this is new, but even major, like even Google. I mean, they go through this. Once it stabilizes, it has to go through that push-pull until it becomes consistent.
Yeah, Amazon had, 70% plus corrections on its
Right, exactly.
You didn't buy the dip on that and or get in early on that.
Well, what are you looking at? You mentioned to me the other night when we first were hanging out that, it's got certain points that it's going to go through. So it's starting to behave like other securities behave.
And that's really where I want to dig in because he's like, well, I'm a financial markets guy. And that's why I'm like, it makes sense because everybody else right now, like the average person is like, oh, I knew it was going to fail. It's crashing. What's happening?
Right,
my God, they're freaking out. You're
that's
like,
the opportunity.
You're in the corner like, I think it's a buy. I'm like, I like this guy because that means you get it. You have to understand financial markets. And I think it's important to now know, I think we've seen that Bitcoin is definitely not immune to gravity, not immune to the ways that financial markets work. It's just a new asset class. So tell me how, I think you just have a different outlook because of your past looking into this. And so I'm very intrigued to see what you think happens in financial markets and why you're excited about it now.
Well, first of all, we're getting a correction now going on. You see this mini correction going on in the markets, right?
Sure.
I mean, literally today, right? So I don't know what's exactly today's date, but it's the 6th, right?
Yeah.
December 6th.
It's Vegas, so we don't know.
Right, it's Vegas. right. Last night was a 4:30.
Sometime December 18, I think.
Right, 2018 on the 6th. So you're seeing some things going on in the markets right now, but I think that's necessary. But as far as the crypto is concerned, I think that, again, I don't want to repeat myself, but we're seeing what's necessary in it. Sure. And I think that some of that whole sleaziness to it needed to go away. Now, it was supposed to be an inflation-proof product, You saw it was going away from that. So it's going to be a little bit more traditional. So some of the things that were really, people were really excited about is it's not controlled by the Fed and everything. I think that's going to be, those influences are going to change, but I think that's going to create the value that people are looking for. The other thing with cryptos that people never got, or I thought they never got, was if you're holding on to it like comic books, right? There's no value. It's what you perceive that value may be.
Sure, yeah, they're not
money is like blood. If it's not flowing, you're dead. And it needs to flow.
So do you think that Bitcoin has a better chance of being like a storage of value, which a lot of people look at as, or an actual currency?
I think both. I think honestly,
do you think it could be both?
It really can be both because there are going to be people who are going to treat it like a currency and hold on to it. But it has some unique qualities that traditional financial instruments don't have. Yeah. But I think you got to go back. You can't ignore the blockchain.
Sure.
You can't ignore that. I mean, that's just a powerful byproduct.
So the fact that you even know this, right? Like, who told you about Bitcoin?
To be honest with you, I think my future son-in-law told me a little bit about it. I have now I'm a network marketer, right? So that's another thing. I see
new to the game,
very new to the game. But I see these trends.
We need this guy.
Well, I think it's today. I think it because of we're going to go into a tangent again. So I got to apologize to the audience. That's what we do here on the channel, guys. It's all right, It's the ADD kicks in and I go. But I think that these alternative streams of income. I think the millennials. I'm far from a millennial, but you're used to earning income this way. So something old is new again. So the Amway mentality is so different now. Now it's really truly coming to its own. And network marketing people have been saying that for years. That now is the right place at the right time. No, now is the right place at the right time. Yeah. Because I remember watching a kid on. I was on YouTube or something, or what's the thing where you could watch kids play video games? Twitch, right? Twitch. Yeah. Okay. So this kid's on Twitch, and he's got this funky headset on, right? Sure. The kid's got to be 16, 17 years old, and he's cranking out this game, and he's got $10 a month from these kids because he's giving cheat codes. Yeah. This kid is like a dream kid to me, right? That's when it hits. He's got a banner ad for the headset microphone thing he's got going on.
I'm sorry, I don't know. Things have changed.
Things have changed, and this kid's cranking it at 16 years old, and he's selling headsets and he's giving, and then he's talking the whole time. And he's crushing this game while he's having this intense conversation with people. So it was pretty cool. So I said, what?
A culmination of things have changed.
Right, affiliate marketing, direct sales, whatever you want to call it, it is right now because people are going to live off multiple streams of income. Truly, the days of
though I'm wearing,
they're going to have to.
They're going to have to.
Well, it's already happening. Yeah. So people react to things, most people, right, your rank and file are reactionary people, right, cause and effect.
Sure.
Where the people who are really making money, even if it's at the lowest levels, are proactive. They're figuring something out. Like the guys who got in initially into Bitcoin because they believed in the technology or they believed in the
there's a lot of
the independence of it.
Yeah,
there's people who just got
anarchists, you had your gamers,
exactly,
you had your poker players, you had your drug guys,
your criminals.
Yeah, I mean, that all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I agree, and it's a very unique group. You know?
Yeah.
And I agree that we do need some more flush out. All right, so I want to talk for a second about financial markets and how this relates. So you're a financial markets guy. What's your background?
Kind of. I mean, only when I need them. So I wouldn't consider. I'm not.
That's the coolest thing I've actually ever heard. Only when I need them. That's dope.
Only when I need it, because I'm not. That's just a mechanism. It's just a tool for me. It's not a lifestyle. Right. So if someone comes to me and says, "Look, you got to get involved in this," or like, Tesla or whatever, right? Like I'll tell you, my first interaction with really the trading was Philip Morris, right? Because you always hear about buy low, sell high, all of those buzz, all of those
sounds easy,
right? But when they said that buy on bad news, right? Yeah. So when Philip Morris and the first, shows you how old I am, when the first cigarette lawsuits were coming out where people could sue for cigarettes, I'm like, I'm buying Philip Morris, and it was just cranked out.
You were told and taught to be a contrarian.
Yeah, to be a contrarian, right? Which really works because eventually everything old is new again. Yeah, right. Everything old is new again. I'm not saying you could do that with real volatile things, but the big players, you know what I mean? The big players.
All right. So what would you compare this to? What's going on? What's the last kind of bubble or big change in technology or trend that you think this was
Honestly, you've seen what's happening now over and over and over and over again. Yeah. So just don't think about your lifetime. You have to think about lifetimes. You guys are data-driven people, right? Your whole generation is all about accessing data, manipulating data, getting it. So go back and look. Go back and look and see what the trends were, right?
I agree.
But I also do another thing. Don't just live by investing and sit back, but buy what you like. If you're interested, you understand the market, buy what you like, right? This is a huge industry right now, right? And there are some major products out there, big name brands, I don't want to name them, that suck. Yeah. Right? That suck.
They're not healthy for you. They're not helping anybody.
Yeah. Now,
they're not paying anyone except for Travis Pastrana and, not Roy McIlroy, what the heck's his name? The golfer. Ricky Fowler. Oh. Shout out Ricky Fowler. Yeah. He's cranking money from Red Bulls. And Gronk is making a ton from Monster.
Right. Because that's all marketing. Here, I think you have a better product, but then you don't know. So just being great is not always everything, right? Sure. Sometimes, we celebrate mediocrity every single day.
Yeah, I think it's an industry that's primed for disruption. Right. And, the cartel, Red Bull and Monster, they're actually feeling a lot of heat from Bang Energy right now.
Are they really?
Cranking it.
I don't know the space at all, but I know what I like.
Yeah, I'm getting into it now and starting to learn. I was more a crypto guy coming into the drink market, but it's wild, man. Yeah. And it was cool. It's the numbers are wild because it used to just be kids and extreme athletes and just psychos and
and they got a 55-year-old guy in Vegas and he's trying to keep the edge up.
That's it.
And I'm doing it. Honestly, I'm going to tell you something right now. I literally came up here for this. I came up. We're in a suite, in Vegas.
It wasn't to talk to me. I can tell you.
No, it really was. No, we had a really good conversation last night. We got to know each other. But I said I just need it because we're going to be out all night tonight. So I'm and it's probably going to steal 2 at the door. But I absolutely.
The guy's a savage. Well, hey, I appreciate you kind of shed some light. I want to hear your side, and I think it's good for people to hear from somebody who's from financial markets. Right. That when everyone else is panicking, he's like, I think you should buy. Right. And I love that. I love that you believe in $100,000 Bitcoin. I love that you love the drink.
I do.
All right, tell people where they can find you on Facebook. I mean, I'm telling you, John Taffer, you're in trouble because something is prime for disruption, and this guy's the face of it. This guy's a savage. He's going to come in and he's going to do whatever people are doing in their business just better. I'm telling you, this guy's going to come in and crush it as a consultant. Where can they find you?
To be honest with you, I'm on
this is the
Facebook.
first video of your new channel. What are we going to call it? Let's do it.
I have no idea. My new channel? I have no idea. I'm not that creative of a guy. I just know what I like. But to be honest with you, if you want to get in touch with me, just go on Facebook, Linda and Paul Capozio, the letter N.
What a guy.
Just real. Absolutely. Listen, I'm married 30 years, right? Don't get me wrong. We had our issues. We had our challenges. But there's nothing like it. Put 30 years in with somebody who's just got your back. And trust me, I put this woman through so much. And she never, ever flinched. Everything I did, she believed in, man. And that's what you need.
John Maxwell said that today. He's like, everything worthwhile is an uphill battle.
How great was he, man? How great was he?
He's so good. He's funny, too. He's one of the few guys that infuses comedy and teaching well. I think he's really good.
You learn that way.
Yeah, no, he really was. So that's That's great. All right, so you can get him out there on Facebook.
Right, and I'll tell you the rest of my story because we didn't get to
Let's
it. I
get
think there were more
speed
important
it up.
things.
Let's go. Let's get to it, man. I want to tell
What?
people.
You still want to keep going?
So we're in Jersey.
Yeah.
He's he's contracting, and so he
Right.
decides that I need more leverage. This isn't quite working. You're 23. What happened next?
Right,
Let's
so
get into
I was doing a whole contracting thing and everything, and I had this idea way back when in the late 80s, early 90s, basically to say, well, listen, if you had, let's say you were a contractor and you had 5 employees, and then you're a law firm and you got 3 employees, and then you're a whatever, it doesn't matter. Whatever company has employees, right? Well, this guy's got to go out and he's got to buy health insurance and he's got to buy workers' comp insurance, he's got to run payroll, and he's got to pay all of these things, right? And then so do you. But you're buying for 3 people, he's buying for 5 people, this other guy's buying for 10 people.
Sure.
And I figured, well, if we consolidated those, right? And that is an industry now that's but in the beginning that was like unheard of.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we would say, look, I'll pool your 3 employees with his 10 and the other guy's 5, and then I'll go out and I'll buy insurance in greater numbers. So there's economies of scale, right?
I like
so
the way that your brain works like that. We were talking last night too. I mean, not to interrupt your story again, but there's too much to talk about. But you saw different pieces and things that could be brought together, and you like mentally structured a deal that made sense to bring people together to save them money, but to help everybody. I was like, it was just watching your brain work was wild.
Right. Well, it's funny. I mean, these ideas are all out there. So I think that
This guy came up with a genius idea last night, by the way, which we're going to drop on some people soon. But
oh yeah, we got to hold off on that one because that's a big play.
Get your checkbooks out. We got something coming.
So, but that comes from, and where did that come from? It came from the T0 deal.
Yeah.
Right. So
shout out Patrick Byrne.
Yeah. So
Overstock.com.
You got to realize that that's an unconventional deal that people think now that was brilliant, but people thought Noah.
You have nothing to do with each other, like you said.
Nothing whatsoever.
It's impressive.
But conceptually, how it worked, and you had belief. So all of these ideas are out there. There's nothing new. There's no new ideas. But if you can just pick the pieces together and see them, and just be able to manipulate them and say, well, this will work.
Yeah, you're playing chess.
You literally
chess.
are. You literally are.
You believe anything's possible.
Anything. Yeah, exactly right.
It's just
anything is possible.
This is just going to structure the right deal. I think that's what you were saying last night.
Yeah, if you've seen somebody else do it, it means you
it's
can
just
do
in
it.
the deal, which is kind of like the funnest part of like doing it all.
It
up.
is. If you're doing it for the money, you're going to feel
a lawyer. I mean, what do you? People probably told you.
I got to be honest with you. I never spent a day in college till I was asked to speak in one.
Yeah. That's the only way to go.
Yeah. So it didn't turn
Unless
me on.
In college,
but
she asked you to pick her up.
Exactly right. Exactly.
Kidding, guys.
Yeah. Kidding, Linda. So. But I just saw it before, and I'm more of a visual learner.
Sure.
I'm not really the book learning type.
I think everybody's going that way.
Yeah,
that's why we're shooting this video.
Yeah, exactly right. But that's how I just absorbed stuff. Like if you asked me to read a novel or to read like a technical manual, I'm all over the technical manual.
Really?
I just like it. I enjoy it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's more, I don't know, it's more mechanical. It's more in depth. A novel's great, the stories are great, but I'd rather watch the movie.
Yeah,
and I
your
know that
attention
may
span's
seem
too short.
ignorant.
You need to like learn how things are working versus like you don't want to hang on for a long story.
Right.
Just give me how it works and give me the end.
And the only problem is my brain doesn't necessarily work like a lot of other people, so that when I read a book and I envision what the characters looked like, and then I see the movie, I'm like, I had that all wrong, or maybe he had that all wrong, whatever it may be. So I'd have this struggle with that.
But you got self-awareness. You know that's how your brain works.
Exactly. Exactly.
A lot of people don't have that. They just don't. Like I'm a psycho. I can watch a movie once and quote the entire thing, but I can't tell AM from PM. I use military time on my phone.
Right.
I don't know what that means. If anyone wants to diagnose me, that'd be fantastic. But like I know that. I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not.
If you know, right, exactly. I may be able to remember that we met, right, and I'll know everything about what we met, the conversation, but I couldn't tell you if it was warm or cold outside. I couldn't tell you it was December or June. Like those details just evaporate for me.
That's kind of cool because that means that
you're emotional
more present. You're more present in the moment. Almost,
right. Yeah, I know how I felt. Like I'll remember the feelings, how I felt meeting you, and the excitement and all that stuff. And then to say it was Vegas,
me too, big dog.
Yeah, that's good. So again, we're off on another tangent.
Well,
so all of those things, all of those little businesses, like the payroll thing, and then the payroll thing turned into a bigger deal, and I sold that company out to a huge company.
Sure.
We took that company $1.5 billion.
Whoa. Stop for a second. So when did you made it big? Like what did you do that like just made you cross the chasm? When did you make your first big money, and why do you think it was you?
Oh, it wasn't me. It's always a team effort. I'm going to tell you right now.
I like that.
No, it's always a team effort.
Okay.
You can't do it alone. And if you think you're going to do it alone, you're going to do it small, right? So it's better to, if you really want to do it big, you got to do it with other people. And sometimes those people are going to screw you over.
Sure.
And sometimes those people are going to crush you. And sometimes the people are just going to run with you. Nothing lasts forever. It doesn't mean you can't get in bed with the wrong people if it's the right deal, as long as you know the devil you're dealing with. But understand that and then the deals that keep repeating themselves and the people that keep showing up, those are the people you do long-term deals with. Those are the people that you get, those are equity deals. And I don't mean equity in a deal, but it's equity, like, we're equity players, right? We're going to start, you do 2-3 deals with a guy, and his knife is not, when you pull all the knives out of your back and you throw them on the table, and your buddy, there's not one with your name on it, then I know that's the guy I'm going to do the next deal with.
I like that. I like it. Sounds Italian, too.
It is
always
Italian.
doing a deal. I like that. I love that. Tortellani, I love it. So.
That's right. That's
pretty well. All right, so then, I'm interested to hear, so did you have a mentor that helped you through? Was there one guy that helped you, or was it
I had an uncle that was a very wealthy guy, and he was a business owner and everything. And
did you seek out him, or was he like, I see something in this kid and I'm going to help him?
I think it was a little bit of both. It was a lot of both. I admired him. I admired my dad. My dad's a hardworking guy, but my Uncle Vin is a really, really smart guy and a caring guy at the same time. Like, he cared for people. It was like a tough love thing, but more love than tough, right?
Sure.
And then I started to watch people that I liked, and I was mostly, when I was a kid, it was mostly about actors. Like, it was really not a real person, but it was a character, but yet I attached on to that.
That's cool.
So it was really an amalgam of hundreds
amalgam, that's the word of the word of the podcast here. Amalgam. I'm going to use that tomorrow.
of just all of just all different people. So there's really not one guy I could really pick out and say that, but he was a big influence on my life, and he kind of bailed me out a couple of times when I was young, or gave me a lot of chances, I should say. So that was a big thing.
All right, so then you made obviously a bunch of money, had tremendous amount of success.
Well, when I was on my own, it wasn't a bunch of money. It was good money, really good money, like 6-figure money, but it wasn't really like crazy money. It wasn't. All right,
what's the stupidest thing you've ever done with your money? What's the worst business decision you've made?
Worst business decision?
Yeah.
It's really, I wouldn't say the businesses were the bad decisions. I think the partners were bad decisions.
Ooh, I like that. All right, what's the best business decision you've made? Besides jumping on the Bitcoin Energy video.
Exactly right. Exactly. Well, I just came up for the can. So I guess that's the price you got to pay for the product, right? No, I don't think. I think the current deal, I know that's like kind of a cop-out deal, but right now I really love this network marketing thing because it has a lot of legs. But 10, 15, 17 years ago, the payroll thing, because that was coming into its own, and there was a lot of things going on in the insurance world that was making it hard for employers to find cheap insurance and health insurance and Obamacare and all that stuff. So their timing was right. So I loved that deal then. I'd probably hate that deal now.
Yeah, timing is.
You know what I mean?
So you're about trends.
Really, you have to be. You have to be. Nothing's going to last forever.
Yeah,
Nothing
I think
lasts
the trends
forever.
are getting shorter and shorter and shorter.
I think the biggest business deal I've ever done is probably that lasted the longest was my marriage, right? It's not really a business deal, but it was really, that's 30-year. I have a 30-year run there. I don't have a single run. Like I said, that company we took from, I sold my company, my small little payroll company, to a guy, and he said, well, what are you going to do now? I said, I'm going to go out and build another one, come back and sell it to you. And he goes, no, it's a lot cheaper for me. This is God's honest truth. He goes, it's a lot cheaper for me to just bring you in, and I'll give you this like crazy deal. And he gave me a crazy deal. And I said, well, what do you want to do? He goes, well, I can be on the NASDAQ if I'm at $1 billion in total gross sales. And, and I said, well, where you're at now is at 350. And we, through a team effort, a lot of guys that I love, still to this day I love, I don't see them that much anymore. We took that company. I took over the president of sales, and I just brought the company in through sales and through other people too. But we brought that company from 350 million in top line revenue to $1.5 billion. Wow. And then, and I don't want to name
you overshot it by 50%.
Oh, yeah. Well, once you get that kind of momentum, you can't stop it. Which wasn't necessarily.
You need $1 billion. We got $1.5 billion.
Fast. Fast growth is dangerous growth, and he actually wound up tripping over himself. And that company doesn't even exist anymore. It was literally out of business in 3 months.
Damn.
Publicly traded on the NASDAQ and then gone. So nothing lasts forever is what I'm trying to tell people.
That's a good lesson.
And so don't fall in love necessarily. Fall in love with the deal making and that deal, but don't expect it to be forever. Any deal. I don't
learning
care.
right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. No deal would last forever.
It's really good advice.
The hula hoop, right? It was other than going to Hooters, you're not going to see a hula hoop anymore. And it was the hottest thing, right? The Walkman, right? It's like everybody's got to have a Walkman. Well, right now, if you were walking around with a Walkman with a cassette tape,
you'd be a loser.
People think you're a lunatic.
You would be taken off to jail.
Yeah, exactly. Either that, or you're like some sort of
or
it's like kind of like hipster kind of thing.
Yeah, something's up. Yeah, like you're right. I was told. Good thing I spent a year of my life learning cursive and was told that I'd never have a calculator in my pocket, so I got to know algebra, which I love math, but I mean,
right.
I have the iPhone. Come on, So yeah, I think times are changing. I love that you're a guy who seems to be in front of that because most people that are your age, not that you're old.
No, I get it.
You are wiser than myself.
I'm a realist.
Let's call it that.
Yeah.
You're in front of the trends, like the tech, and so man, I like your style. I like your vibe. It's been a pleasure meeting.
It's been awesome.
And,
thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I know we're going to spend a lot of time together, no doubt.
I think we're going to have some fun. And any last words of wisdom to people just from a generic business standpoint, what they can do at home to have more success?
I really think that passion is probably more important than a great idea. If you don't love it and you don't really just go nuts over it, it's not keeping you up at nights, to stay away from it. Make it a hobby. That's really about it. Other than that, you just got to love it because it's hard. It's not easy, right? It's not easy.
Well said, man. Well, we love this guy. Shout out.
Thanks. Great
times.
Awesome, guys.
See you guys tonight. Appreciate you tuning in. If you found value in this video, share it, tick the little bell, you get notifications, subscribe. We will see you guys on the next episode. Peace.